Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV, and I am the editor here at MetaStellar. And with me today is AMIRA LOUTFI, our reviews editor. Every Friday, AMIRA and I read the top 10 free sci-fi and fantasy books on Amazon. Or we try to. We don't always get very far into them, but it's always a blast. And today we've got dinosaurs and time travelers and shapeshifters and elves, and did I mention dinosaurs? We have dinosaurs. The link to the article is in the description below. For those who are new to our channel, MetaStellar is an online magazine of speculative fiction, and all the content is always free for our readers. We publish original short fiction, reprints, excerpts, essays, and lots of book reviews. And we're able to do this and keep all content completely free thanks to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. And if you want to get more content like this, subscribe to this channel, like this video so that YouTube will recommend it to people. You know, the usual. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's see, who did the first book?
That was me.
That was you, right? Let me pull up the cover. I have it queued up, and here it is. It's in a post-apocalyptic book about an EMP blast, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a standalone book, but the author has several similar books on Amazon, 2 of which have also made the top 10 free sci-fi and fantasy book bestseller lists on Amazon. And we reviewed them in September and in July. So, AMIRA, what'd you think of this one?
I mean, I liked it. It's very cute. It's definitely enjoyable to read. I also thought it was well written. Basically, it seems okay. So I read like the first maybe 4 or 5 chapters, and every chapter was introducing like another set of characters. And they're all very cute, and it's very warm and fuzzy. But like I didn't actually get to the part where the EMP blast occurs and we like run out and the power goes out, right?
Okay.
However, I did get to the part where the prisoners do something.
What prisoners?
Well, one set of characters that is introduced in like chapter 4, maybe 5, they're just prisoners in prison.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that's one of the set of characters, and they're adorable. They're very cute. And yeah, and I seriously doubt that this book is going to stop being cute. Like, I mean, I really think it's going to keep being cute. And yeah, and they're basically wondering like, is it going to happen? And there's a lot of ambiguity in this story, in the way that it's told, right? They're like, is it going to happen? I don't know if they're really going to do it. Are they really doing it? And then you find out that the whole prison is like suddenly, you know, it's code red. They're on lockdown. They're all like, you know, the whole prison is locking down, and everyone has to like go back to their cells, right? And it's like in the middle of lunch for the prisoners.
So what's the ambiguity?
The ambiguity is that we don't know what it is that happened, that the prisoners were waiting for, and that caused the entire prison to like shut down.
Oh, I hate it when authors do that. Come on, just tell me.
Like, come on. Yeah, that's totally how I feel. So yeah, so I feel like probably, you know, okay, this is like what I'm guessing. If I'm gonna like just make guesses, I'm gonna say probably all these characters are gonna bump into each other at some point, either that or they're all gonna be stuck together just from the beginning through to the end.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah. It sounds like a reasonable forecast.
Yeah, I mean, you know. All right, so we can move on to.
Oh yeah, let's move on. So the next one, let's see if I can show it to you guys. So here it is, Tequila Faye. And it's the first book in a 4-book series called The Dragon Portal. It's a fantasy. It's got romance. The other books are $4 to $5 each and are not in Kindle Unlimited. The fourth book isn't out yet. It's scheduled to be released in August. So there you go. And what did you think?
Okay, so I think this is a book that you might have loved if you read it. You might really like this book. So basically this main character, okay, I had like kind of an issue with it because I felt like it wasn't organized that well, or at least it wasn't organized in a way that I found to be pleasing. And I also felt that there were too many plot threads going on in the first chapter. There was like maybe like 7 or 8 plot threads, right? And I'm just like, which one of these things matters? You know, like I didn't know which one to focus on. However, it did have a couple of like, so like there were a lot of cool things about it. And the main character is like this, you know, really dangerous woman. She's probably an assassin. She can
Ooh, I
use
like
magic.
that.
She has like a really really nasty, dangerous reputation in a city that is extremely dangerous. So it's like in the middle of this
like
really dangerous. Yeah, so I was kind of thinking like, oh, I should have given this one to Maria. Yeah, so she has this really, yeah, and in the opening scene, she is walking about in the middle of the night. It's really late in the kind of a dangerous part of town, and she realizes that she's being followed. And it turns out that the guys following her wanted to kill her. And, you know, she uses like some of her magic, and then she manages to kill them first. And then there's like another guy, she's like right about to kill him. And then he starts saying some kind of like ancient, like, I don't know, ancient fae thing to her. He just says something in like the ancient fae language, basically. And she decides not to kill him, and then she finds out, and he's also very beautiful, and she thinks he might be a fae, and her weakness is fae magic, and she's like genuinely afraid of fae magic. Yeah, so right, so there's definitely more than that going on in this first chapter. There's also a goblin who shows up and who's like, oh, you know, like you shouldn't, who is looking for the guy, the beautiful fae who can speak ancient fae, right? Who's trying to bring him, he tells the woman, right, the dangerous one, that this guy, you know, he just got off the boat from afar. He's a traveler, and I'm trying to escort him over to meet the leader of the thieves. So it's like, okay, we have like a thieves guild in a really, really dangerous city.
Yeah, it's everything that I want in the book.
Yeah, there's just so many things going on. I feel like you'd love it.
But I'm still reading the Shannon Mayer books from like a previous one of these, because she had like, I don't know, 25 books or something in those 3 series. I finished one of those series. I'm almost all the way through the second one of the series. I love her books, and they're Kindle Unlimited. So I just like keep reading the next one. These books are not on Kindle Unlimited. I'm going to have to pay money for them. So I'm like, I have a lot of Shannon Mayer books still to read. I'm good with like leisure reading of assassins who kill a lot of people. You know, I have that, you know, that part of my life covered right now. So, and it's in Kindle Unlimited, so it doesn't cost me anything. I think I'm just going to stick with Shannon Mayer for a while. Except I'm going to get to this a little bit later. That there's going to be like another book just bumped her off the top of my reading list, but not the next one. Why don't I show you the next one first before we get over there? So the next one is it's a retelling of Robin Hood, the Robin Hood story, but it's set in a post-apocalyptic kind of future. So I'm not a fan of post-apocalyptic books. So right there, that was a major strike against it. The lead character is ambivalent about killing people. Like, you know, I'm a big fan of assassins who kill without a second thought, So I'm like, oh, dude, come on, you know, you're in a war, get over it, right? I mean, obviously in real life, I would rather people were ambivalent about killing other people, but in my leisurely reading, I like stuff that's a little less morally ambiguous, you know. Life is complex enough as it is. And then the other thing is the author used the word smirked in the first chapter. And I was like, all right, that's it, I'm out. I can't explain it. There's just something about that word that really annoys me.
Yeah, that's the deal, right?
There's nothing wrong with the book. The book is perfectly fine. So there's a war going on, and the main character is on one side of the war, and he's a sniper, and he's shooting people, and the bad guy's named the Kaiser, and it's, you know, people are struggling to survive, and you know, all this other stuff. So it's not a bad premise, except for the fact that it's post-apocalyptic, it's morally ambiguous, and somebody smirked. So, but the next one, I love this book. So here it is, A Time of Death. And it's like a hard-boiled private eye kind of story. So the private eye is in his office, and a gorgeous dame comes in. Her husband killed himself, at least that's what the police say. She's convinced he's murdered, and she's beautiful and she's wealthy, and he takes the case. And he is just like so snarky about it. I love it. He's got an artificial intelligence sidekick, even though it's in the present day, and the artificial intelligence is way smarter than the assistants we have now. And he can time travel, which he's got all kinds of cool devices because he can go back in time and see who killed him. So he can't like change what happened in the past, but he can go back over there and check it out. And he finds out that the guy was in fact killed by somebody, that this was staged to look like a suicide. But in the process, you know, something goes wrong and he gets hurt, and the bad guy sees him, and he never wants to let other people see him when he's time traveling. He's like very careful about jumping someplace where there's nobody around and there's no furniture that he will like land in the middle of, you know, that kind of thing. So I love this premise, love the writing. I could not put this book down. We'll definitely come back to it. It's the first in a series. The second book is also out and is in Kindle Unlimited. It's normally $3, but I'm going to get it for free and read it. And so definitely this is my weekend reading because love this book. Very snarky, very funny, action-packed, everything I want in the book. And the opposite of this next book, here it is, this Golden Coil. And it's a romantic kind of fantasy set in a historic fantasy world with elves and magic and Loki. So I'm a big fan of Loki, but the protagonist is 14 years old. And you know me, AMIRA, I hate young adults. I want them off my lawn. I do not like them. And so she's being left every summer with like basically another family while her aunt is off being a Viking. And because, you know, why not? And this family that she's left with mistreats her, but she keeps a stiff upper lip and all this stuff. And Loki shows up and she heals him, and with some magical water. There's magic all over the place. And I don't know, it's so slow paced, and she's a teenager. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with this book. You probably may have liked it very much, but nobody kills anybody. It's like family issues and magic, and she's a perfectly nice person. Like I said, she doesn't kill a single person in the first 2 chapters. I have no patience with that. I have no patience with that at all. Kill somebody. So I think you're up next with the Red Dragon's Heart. Oh, it's the it's the 4th book in a 5-book series. The series is called Darkwing Dragons of Paranormal Romance. There's another series called Darkwing Dragons, where Darkwing is 2 words instead of 1. You reviewed one of those books. It was the cruise ship book.
Oh, really?
Different series, different Darkwing paranormal shapeshifters, by a different author.
So before we get there or talk about that, I wanted to ask you about like, so the what is it called? Time of Death.
Yeah.
Is this the book that is like replacing Shannon Mayer for like
For this weekend? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. And I'm like, and now that I'm into it, I'm like in the middle of it already. I'm like, oh, I gotta finish it. I want to see what happens.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you found something like, you know, you had fun. So I had a lot of fun with this book. The Red Dragon's Heart. Although I didn't actually read the Red Dragon's Heart. It's number 4, right? It's like the 4th book in a series. The first book is has like a free, like the first few pages are free.
Okay.
On Amazon, right?
Right.
So that's what I did. I just went ahead and I read the first few pages there, and I was like, this is fantastic.
But you don't have a Kindle Unlimited subscription?
No.
It's $10 a month, AMIRA.
I know. But
okay, all right. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so I read like the first few pages of book 1, right? And I really liked it. It was weird, it was kind of crazy. 2 of the characters already are like mental. And yeah, and that's just like kind of exciting to me to be like, whoa, they're just crazy, really, like literally. It's like, what's wrong with these guys? So the basic idea is that there's this wolf shifter woman, okay, who has a problem, and she thinks that this crazy dragon man might be able to help her. So that's basically the premise, right?
What's her problem?
Her problem, okay. I think her problem is that her shifting is like out of control.
Okay.
She doesn't have control over the way that she shifts, right? And I'm not completely sure if like that's what her problem is, because she suggests also that she takes medication for it and medication helps. So I'm like, if her medication is helping her with the shifting problem, then maybe that's not the problem that she's approaching him for. But you know, it could be that she just wants like a different kind of solution, right? And yeah, so I'm not completely sure like what kind of problem or what solution she thinks he's gonna bring her. But yeah, but it turns out that like okay, so I really like the opening scene. It's weird. It's like she's climbing up this mountain, and her internal wolf is like going kind of crazy, and she's afraid that she's gonna just like shift into a wolf and just like go nuts as she's like climbing up this mountain. And she's trying to get up there to so that she can visit this this dragon man, right? And he, you know, I think I already said that. He's like, you know, he is what is it called? The Draken Prince of El Madiri, and his name is Emin. And yeah, and there are these rumors about him, you know, being crazy. Now he's like about to just like lose his mind, and he just has like a bunch of treasure, and he has servants, and he has his sister, and his sister's also crazy.
So that's who she goes to for help. 2
yeah.
other people.
Yeah. He's a prince. So he has some kind of power. And also where he lives is really interesting. He lives in this interdimensional world or bubble. The author calls it like an interdimensional bubble, right? And it's right between the human world and the dragon lands. And I'm just like, oh, that's so appealing. So this she has to travel through like a magical portal to get to this bubble world. Yeah, and also the Dragonlands. I'm like, there's so much potential for this story. And then it's like, he is flying around in the sky as she's climbing up the mountain, and it's storming, and he's like jumping right into the lightning and like getting himself shocked, right? And it's like um, when we switch to his point of view, it switches to his point of view, right, in the next chapter. And he's like, yeah, like he loves it. It's making him feel alive. It hurts, but he likes it. And I'm
And
just
you
like,
like
"Oh,
that.
yeah, I'm like, whoa, like, there's something wrong with this guy. There's something wrong with these people. Um, and yeah, and I just feel like, okay, so all right, I'm into it. I'm like, yeah, this was meant to.
All right,
I don't know.
the next book was yours too. Let me pull that up so you guys can see that. Here it is, Right Through Me by Shannon McKenna, which is the first of 4 books in the Obsidian Files, a paranormal romance series. The other books are $4 to $5 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited. So you'd have to pay money for them either way. All right. What'd you think?
That one was you. No, this one was you.
Oh my God, it was me. You're right. Oh, I figured it was romance, paranormal. You had this one, but yeah, you're right. I did read it. All right. So Noah Gallagher, the guy on the cover, is the 32-year-old CEO of Angel Enterprises. And he's kind of like some kind of weird super soldier kind of guy with these brain implants, and he can see people's energy signatures and has, like, I don't know, basically superpowers. And he's at a meeting of his company with his, in a conference room, and his fiance is there and his little sister is there. So I guess which doesn't bode well for what kind of company this is if the fiance and the sister work with him. But anyway, his sister, for some reason, decides to have a belly dancer come in and do a dance for him right in this corporate office, right? So the belly dancer comes in to do this dance, and Noah, because we're in his point of view as this is starting out, his brain just goes nuts. He can't take his eyes off of this woman. His adrenaline spikes. He's like, her signature is the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. He can't think. He can't do anything. His fiance is like, really, and everyone, and like nobody says anything, and everyone's like super embarrassed, and he's just like, he can't tear his eyes off away. And then we switch to the point of view of the belly dancer, and her name is Carol, and she thinks that he's very hot and rich, and she's really uncomfortable doing this dance here in this company, because clearly it was an inappropriate dance to be doing, and she's gets done with it as soon as she can and goes to change, switches out her wig for a different wig, puts on loose, bulky clothing, a chin implant, totally redoes her makeup because she's in hiding. So I don't know why she's doing belly dancing for the public if she's in hiding, but let's go with that. So she puts on her disguise, and she tries to get out of there. And he sees her, he's running after her. She gets into the elevator and shuts the door before he can catch up to her. She goes downstairs, jumps in the cab, and he runs out of the building after her. And she drives away. And we switch back to his point of view. And he's freaking out that who's this woman, what's going on? He has to catch up with her. He's going nuts. His brain implants are all going haywire. And then he gets a mysterious message from his brother about the business deal that he's involved in, that something's going wrong in there. So the premise is ridiculous. The characters are ridiculous. The story is ridiculous. And I couldn't stop reading this thing. And I cannot explain why. It was just like, it was like a potato chip kind of situation, or a Ben and Jerry's kind of situation, where it's like, this is just, why am I reading this? And I had to pull myself away to go on to the next book. This is not my kind of book in any way, shape, or form. But I could not stop reading it anyway. So really, I basically do not know anything about what my taste is actually in books. So there you go. If you like that kind of thing, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. It has a little bit of a Shades of Grey kind of vibe, except that she seems tough and competent, and he doesn't come off as creepy as the Shades of Grey guy did. And the book is 100 times better written. That I could not read Shades of Grey at all. I barely could make it past the first page because the writing was just felt so horrible. This book, writing is smooth, it's addictive, it pulls you right in. I really enjoyed it against my will. All right.
You sound like Mr. Darcy saying that. I love it against my better judgment.
Yeah. The next book was yours. So this is The Fae Hunter, the first of 5 books in the Fae Hunter series, young adult romantic urban fantasy. The other books are $4 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
Not that it makes a difference to you.
So this basically, I mean, from the blurb, I know that the protagonist here just wants to kill all the Fae. And if you look at the cover, it's like she's holding she has like a dark stripe across her eyes, and she goes blind in this. The Fae takes her eyesight away. And I just found like that to be really interesting. I enjoyed that. But I do feel that it was moving a bit slow. So I'm not going to be coming back to it. But yeah, I mean, it was very well written, right? It's basically about Allie, right, and her sister. In the first scene, they are just dancing around a what is it called, like a circle of like rocks or stones near their village, right? And they're isolated, and no one else is there. And then and the dance they're doing is forbidden, and it's because this dance attracts Fae. So as they're doing the dance, a Fae appears, and the Fae says that he's been dreaming about Allie's sister, and Allie's sister is like, whoa, like in love with him immediately because he's a beautiful Fae, right? And so he disappears with her, and then another Fae appears and starts chasing Allie. And Allie is like a bit more homely, right? And her sister is like really gorgeous, so that might be why one of them got kidnapped and the other one just gets chased. But as she's running, she hits into something, she blacks out, and the next day when she wakes up, she finds that her sister really is missing and she can't see. But then she realizes that, like, okay, she can see, she can see a little bit. Her parents look kind of like blurs, right? Like light blue blurry lights, right? That's how they look. And now she can also see like animal tracks like going like in her house that she has never seen before. And she can also see like silver strings and lines like going around through the air that she imagines like probably leads somewhere. And there's a light in her attic, a light in her attic is like calling to her. And in this scene, it's like she's still in her bedroom. So I'm just like, how is a light in her attic, you know, calling to her from her bedroom? And how does she know it's a light? But I guess she can just like see things differently now. And she also gets like a visit from her neighbors. And her neighbors are extremely obnoxious, very beautiful, but very like just very like cold, and they're really mean to her about being blind, and they're mean to her about losing her sister, and then finally they go away, but she can see them as like these weird shaped blobs that are a bit ugly, right? And I guess it's because maybe now she can see like the ugliness on the inside or something, or like she can see people's like true vibes. And then she sees a friend of hers, and he is very homely, right? Like on the outside he's very homely, but now that she has this like new like vision, she can see him as being beautiful, right? um and I mean, I did find that to be really interesting, and definitely a really good story, a really good like beginning of a story, and I'm like, this is something like that might eventually become like a movie, you know. um
Cool.
and yeah, I mean, it's cool, it's a pretty cool story.
And the author is
Mm.
a USA Today best-selling author.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does it really mean when people have that title?
It means that she made the USA Today bestseller list,
Uh-huh.
which is pretty big deal.
Okay.
Like, it's really easy to make an Amazon category bestseller list,
Hmm.
but making a like USA Today or a New York Times bestseller list is like a lot harder, because it
Okay.
means that your book has to be sold through traditional bookstores, and the
Mm.
booksellers have to report their sales, and it's generally a mark of a author who's doing pretty well.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, like, I feel like this is a book that I might have read when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And let's look at the next one. Let me pull that up for you. Demetrius, right? That was yours. It's the
Yeah.
first of 8 books in the new Vampire Disorder Paranormal Romance series. The other books are between $1 and $5 each. They are not in Kindle Unlimited. So judging by the cover, there's a hot naked guy in it.
I guess. Oh, yeah. Demetrius, he is quite an active guy. He's been around town a couple of times, basically. And so this guy on the cover is probably Demetrius. Um, and he's leading a what is it called, when they say that it's the new vampire disorder, it's a play on words. They are this is Demetrius is leading a new governance structure, right? He wants to create like a new government for vampires and shifters, and I think demons, maybe demons. um and yeah, so disorder is like, you know, the new vampire order, I don't know. um and he's like the leader of it. So Callie is a young girl, right? She loses her mother when she's 8 years old, and her mother though was evil. She her father was like, you know, her wow, I'm being so sorry. I don't know why. Sometimes I just get really inarticulate. Anyways, so this girl, Callie, when she's 8, her, you know, whatever, she has like an evil mother, and then her evil mother disappears, and her father's like, your mother left. And it's like, kind of made me wonder, like, did her father just, you know, do something to the mother because they were in the middle of a fight when she disappeared, right? Um, so they're having a riches to rags situation, her and her father. They live in a mansion, but they barely have any money, and she wears like old clothes, and she has a job. And then one day when she comes home from work, she sees her father is talking to a demon, and this demon is like really big and scary and stuff, and her father is like kind of seems like it's too much for him to handle, right? And then the demon like, you know, dissolves or like turns into dust or something, and then he becomes like absorbed into her father. So her
Yeah.
father like absorbs this demon, and she is just like, you know, she goes to Google. She's like gonna go about this, which is exactly what I would do. Um, so she's Googling like, you know, the name of the demon, right? And also like about demons and possession and stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's just like everyone says on Google. My father is totally possessed. um, and yeah, and then she decides to like go tell Demetrius, even though she hates him. She goes to see Demetrius, she hates him, and there's like all this like sexual tension and stuff, and she's telling him like she tries to tell him that she's not one of his groupies, but and he's just like checking her out, and it's like it is the kind of um like I don't really like it when romances begin like that, with like, I guess kind of in kind of a lustful kind of way. I don't enjoy that.
Yeah,
But
I don't either. I'd rather, if the guy's annoying, kill him and then just like move on with your life.
yeah, yeah. There don't have to be any consequences to doing that in a
Yeah, I think I should talk to my therapist about this, you know. So did you like that? Did you like this book?
not really. I mean, it's good. Like it's definitely a cool story. And there's like political stuff going on, but yeah, no, I don't think I'll be back. I think there's only one story that I'm gonna come back to, and that's the one with like the crazy dragon who's like rumored to be, you know, just losing his mind and stuff. I feel like that's kind of cool.
Even though you're gonna have to pay money for it?
I think the first one's only 99 cents.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm down.
All right. And I'm up next. Let's see. There we go. Let's show that to you. Here it is. Star Splinter. It's the first of 3 books in the Fractured Space series. The other books cost between $1 and $3 each, and they're in Kindle Unlimited. So good for me, because I'm going to be finishing this book. It's the second one this week that I really liked. It's a military sci-fi. So the main character, his name is Lieutenant Cal Harper. He punches his superior officer. The superior officer was an idiot who sent some men to their deaths. And Cal just had enough. He quits and he's shipped back to Earth. He comes out of cryostasis early. The ship he's on is in trouble and crash lands on Mars. There's a few other passengers there. One of them was another private who was also in the space military that he was in, and she's heard of him, and he's famous, and a teenage boy. And the teenage boy has like a robot wife that's there with him, and some drug using like surfer kind of kid. And this is Mars that's been terraformed, and there's dinosaurs on it. So I have the wrong picture behind me. This is Mars as it is now, not Mars as it is in this book, where it's got jungles and dinosaurs in it. So there's thousands of worlds in this universe. So we're in the far future, but it has a very realistic kind of modern day military feel to it. So it reminds me a lot of David Drake's books, like Hammer Slammers, and Eric Flint and David Weber's military sci-fi books. So I like it. It's fun. I love military sci-fi in general. Huge fan of David Drake and Eric Flint and David Weber. So I'm definitely going to be finishing this book. It looks like a lot of fun. There's political stuff happening. These guys have to get out of the jungle. Cal figures if something went badly enough that their ship crash landed on Mars, then something seriously bad is going on and they're probably not going to get rescued. And so they've got to, like, you know, get out of there. There's a book called The March Upcountry by David Weber and I forget who else, but some other co-author that also had this kind of like small military unit trying to fight their way through the jungles of an alien planet. That this kind of reminds me a little bit in terms of kind of style. I like it a lot. I'm definitely going to be finishing it. So I'm all set for this weekend. All right. So, and that brings us to the end of today's episode of MetaStellar's Free Friday book reviews. We need a better name. We need something catchy. Again, I want to thank you, our Patreon supporters. And thanks to these guys, we've been able to accept, I think, close to 14 stories in our submission cycle this year, that this fall that we're going to be starting to publish soon. So thanks, guys. We love you. If you want to contribute to the publication, all the links are below. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next week, AMIRA.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.